Hi everyone, it's Latoya Silman. As promised, I am back to hopefully give you some hope as we try to navigate through this crazy time that is the coronavirus crisis. Um, as some of you know, I am a news anchor in Las Vegas, and that is my day job. But I'm also a Dave Ramsey certified financial coach. And I have to tell you, when I was introduced to Dave Ramsey, the reason why I wanted to be a coach is because he helped me tremendously just get a hold of my finances. You can make good money and still not know what to do with it. I tell people all the time, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you have. And I'm going to tell you what I had prior to Dave Ramsey. A bunch of Williamses. That's what my mom calls them. Basically, a funny way to say I had a bunch of bills. Student loan being one of them. Thank God that it's in the rear view. It's over. It's done. So I'm really thankful for that. So part of being a certified financial coach is that you help people navigate their money. A lot of people, don't know what to do with it. I was one of them. I thought I knew, but I didn't really know. And I was shocked at how much money I was spending before. But I know that helping people, through this journey is more important than ever because of this crisis. Some 800,000 federal workers have been furloughed. 800,000. Isn't that crazy? And hundreds of thousands have also been furloughed or laid off here in Las Vegas alone. It's bonkers when you think about it. So many restaurants and hairdressers and barbers and bars and, they're all shut down now because, we're doing the social distancing thing. And a lot of governors have come out and said, we want people to shelter in place. And look, if you are suddenly thinking, I lost my job, I wasn't prepared for this, because who would have thought that this would have ever happened, right? You're not alone. 3/4 of full-time workers, according to Career Builder, one of their reports. I'm looking at my notes because I wanted to make sure that I gave you guys factual information, but I'm also speaking from my heart as well. They live paycheck to paycheck. 3/4 of full-time workers. So you're not alone. But let's try to use this moment to get a hold of things so that, heaven forbid, if this should happen again, you're set up to not be in a panic, or that, you can come out of this better than when you came into it, right? So the first things first, the dreaded B word, a budget. We need to know where we stand, right? So you got to get real and write down those expenses. We need to know what's going out, right? So you need to write down every single thing. You can use an app. Look, I don't like budgets. At least I didn't before. I certainly don't like numbers. So I love the Everyday Dollar app. It's a free app from Dave Ramsey that I use and have been using for a couple of years now. And you just put it in and it does the rest. So anyways, we need to know what you're spending your money on, right? So write it all down. Just keep it real. And then once you know where all your money is going, we got to figure out, are there any areas that I could cut? Unfortunately, you've been forced to cut some of those already. Your gym membership, perhaps you're saving $30 to $150 if you're going to some of these boutique gyms. That's $150 right there. Were you getting your hair done every 2 weeks? That's a natural savings, unfortunately, right now. Were you getting your nails done? Things that you couldn't do now, those are things that you can easily cut those expenses, right? Then look for some other waste that you may have in there that you don't even think about. Like, do you have a bunch of subscriptions? Did you buy a bunch of apps that you didn't use? I know that I was buying apps and I never looked at them again after I bought them. And so those were easy things for me to cut. Could you get rid of, if you like doing audiobooks, for example, just my own personal thing, some of the stuff I was able to cut. I had Audible. It cost me $14.99 a month. I didn't think it was a big deal, but that adds up. One of my favorite proverbs is an African proverb that says, little by little, a little becomes a lot. And when you're in lean times, do you really need that Audible app? Could you perhaps use the library? Now I have the library on my phone. So books that I would pay money for every single month because I'm an avid reader, now I can just get it from the library. And if they don't have it, I can request it and hopefully they'll get it, right? So you can think about things like that. Could you do without your Amazon? You're probably like, girl, what are you talking about? But just certain things, I mean, especially when you're in hard times, what can you cut and be okay with? Could you cut your cable? Could you do antenna right now because that $150 is breaking you? Maybe. You know, hard times calls for some drastic measures. And so we really want to just be cognizant of the things that we could do. Do you have perhaps insurance on your cell phone? And think about it. I've been with this company for 10 years and I've never used my insurance. Maybe I don't need that insurance. Maybe, just look for everything that you can to save $1. Maybe call your cell phone company. Hey, do I have the best deal? So a lot of times they'll work with you and you'll be surprised at the savings that you could come up with. So do that on some of the things that you do owe money to. The other thing that a lot of us waste a lot of money on, groceries. We will buy because we're just looking. We go in willy-nilly without a list, and before you know it, we bought the whole store. So what I want you to first do is to start to shop your pantry. And if you're one of those people who panicked and bought the whole store, guess what? You're good on groceries. So you want to shop your pantry. Look and take an inventory of everything that you have in there. What's in the refrigerator? What could possibly be going bad soon. And then you want to start basing your meals off of the food that you've already bought. There's no need, if you have a bunch of food at home, there's no need for you to go back out to the grocery store and buy more food on top of more food, and it's just sitting there. So let's shop our own pantry right now. You'd be surprised at how long you could live off of just that. I think I went 3.5 weeks when I tried this of just stuff I already had and planning my meals off of that. That's a huge savings. And then, when you do start to run out of things, you always want to go ahead and make that grocery list before you ever go to the grocery store. You want to have a list. And the way you get that list is that you take stock, once again, of what's in that refrigerator and what's in that cupboard. You write your list based off of that, and you plan your meals before you go. So you know exactly what you need. You get it, boom, you're done. I also like doing online grocery shopping because I feel like you're less likely to just add stuff into your cart. If you have a list, you go to Instacart or Shipped, whichever one you like, or whatever, I don't care, Walmart pickup or delivery. You just click on what you need. And then boom, you've saved money. You'd be surprised. You'll probably save hundreds of dollars. And right now, I would really suggest that people who are worried about finances and such, that you start making meals using your slow cooker, your Instapot, or something like that. Something that you can, make a big portion of it and then freeze it for later. Because I know some families don't like, they really don't like having to deal with leftovers. I personally can eat the same thing every day, all day. And I don't really get tired of it until about 4 weeks later. I'm a weirdo like that, but most people can't do that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do after you've looked at the groceries and all that other stuff, you want to start checking with your lenders to see if there's anything that they can help you with. Now, even if your bank says, okay, we're going to, forgive your mortgage or something for the next 2 months, that's great. But just remember, you're going to have to pay that later. It's just going to be added on to the principal. So just think about those things. It'd be great if you have a emergency fund. Let's say your pay is completely stopped. If you have an emergency fund that's already built up of 3 to 6 months, then you can finance your own way out of this using that emergency fund. That's what it's for. But sadly, because more than 3/4 of full-time workers, sadly, because they're living paycheck to paycheck, that means they don't have an emergency fund. So you might have to take advantage of something like that right now because, it's crunch time and you don't want to lose your home or you don't want to, fall too far behind. So the other thing I would say too is if you have credit cards, heaven forbid, but we know most people do, see if they'll work with you too. if they'll lower that APR, anything you can do to try to save money. If they have some type of deal, if they're doing something special to try to help people through this traumatic time. A lot of people are feeling very generous, and they're coming up with ways to help the people that they've lent money to. Okay, let me see, where am I? If you do have money saved up, how long could you live off of it? Think about that. And try to make your budget based off of that. And if you are one of those people, you are in a really good spot right now because you saved for a rainy day, and it is pouring right now. So kudos to you. But if you did not, don't worry. We're going to all get through this together. It's scary. It's hairy. It's all those things. But you will come out this on the other end. I think if you just start to get creative and get focused, and stop wasting whatever money that you do have, whether that's the unemployment check or the stimulus check that's supposed to be coming whenever it comes. Just think about those things. Let's see. If you have more month than money, which means that let's say you have $2,000 coming in, but your expenses total $3,000. You have a shortfall, $1,000. It's time to get creative, and it's time to hustle. You need a side hustle if you're still working, because I really do think that these tips can help people who are even still working on their job. You need a side hustle to make up for that. And I also think that if you don't have any money coming in, this is a good time to start thinking about other ways to create money, to earn money in other ways than maybe you hadn't thought of before. So, for instance, maybe you've never thought about being a driver for Amazon or working for Instacart and being a personal shopper, but they're hiring like gangbusters. Amazon came out and said they need to hire 150,000 people. And then Instacart came out and said that it needed to hire 300,000 people. So those are some things that you can do. But I also came up with some other things that I thought could help people besides just picking up those odd jobs, right? So for personal trainers, if you're a personal trainer out there, because so many gyms have been shut down, you could train virtually through Google Hangouts or Amazon or whatever, and have people pay you through Cash App or through something like PayPal. You could do group training where you say the first 15 or however many people you feel comfortable with in that group, that small group, maybe 10 people, they pay, I don't know, $25 or for a class, and then you make money that way. Or you can charge even more for personal training. There are people who are still working. There are people who are desperate to get back in the gym and to have that guidance and to have someone pushing them. And so you will find a market for that. And because you're doing it virtually, you don't just have to train people that are in your area. So if you're in Las Vegas and you're a trainer, so what? When you're online, you're opened up to the whole entire world. So you can talk about it on Facebook, you can get on Instagram, you can start a YouTube page and just cross promote between the two and get some followers that way, and hopefully some takers to start doing some training with you. I think that's a really good way to make some money. Your YouTube page can also give you some credibility. You can put tips on there every day, or the best, the 3 best snacks if you're trying to lose weight, or a lot of guys want to bulk up. So 3 things you can do to bulk up, or 5 things. It doesn't matter. Just something like that that's catchy, that people will click on, and you can show it to them. Maybe do a 5-minute video, boom, get some subscribers, tell them about your training, and maybe you can get some people that way. Okay, for hairdressers, I thought about this. You could offer virtual tutorials, right? A lot of people don't know how to do their hair. And so you can do a consultation with them and charge whatever you feel comfortable charging for that consultation. What kind of products do they need to buy at home? How often do they need to do it? How do they apply it? So forth and so on. Now, if you're worried, well, if I teach somebody how to do their hair, then what do they need me for? Oh, no. Trust me, sis. and bras. Trust me, people will be dying for your services once this is all over, because one of the reasons why we go to stylists in the first place is because we don't want to do our hair. But a lot of us are having to figure that out. And so you could be the person to help them figure it out. You could also do this on YouTube to get your name up and get maybe people from outside of your area and outside of your current client base to patronize your business. Another thing I thought for hairdressers, you could offer discounted gift cards for future services. So let's say a blowout is normally, I don't know, $70. Maybe you offer it if they buy today, you'll maybe give it to them for take $10 off or $15, whatever it is. You decide. You're in business for yourself, but you give them a discounted rate for a future service. That's a way to get money in right now. Another thing you could do is start driving for one of those companies that I talked about and doing other things on the side. You know, what's something that you've always been passionate about and that you're really good at, and try to monetize it, right? I mean, you'd be surprised what people will pay for. I just read about a graphic artist who was furloughed with the government, and he's now making $2,000 a month making these intricate Star Wars kits. Like, huh? Yeah, he's making these little figurines, and people are paying hundreds of dollars for these figurines. And he's good at it. And so people are buying it. You could maybe start something on Etsy to get in business for yourself. So whatever it is, if you're creative like that, you know, make a couple, put them out there and see what happens, you know. Let's see, I thought about bartenders. So a bartender, and really Steve Nice, the DJ who's gone viral for his DJ sets. I thought about this for bartenders. You could do a virtual happy hour. You could do a virtual happy hour where you teach people how to make some cocktails with ingredients that most drinkers may have in their home. Make it fun, have some music, teach people something, and again, have people pay you through Cash App or PayPal to get on to your happy hour. You could even do it through tips. I mean, that's what DJ Nice did. He just left his Cash App up there, so if you wanted to tip him, you could. So you don't have to say, well, to get into this class, you have to pay $20. You can just go live on Instagram with this virtual happy hour. You know, pub it beforehand. Maybe put an invite out on Facebook or something or somewhere, and go live and have people come, and then ask them for tips. People are used to tipping bartenders, and it's kind of a fun, you know, way for you to still kind of do what you love, and for people to be social, because right now people are just craving for connection with people. If you're an entertainer, you could set up an online performance and ask for tips through Cash App or one of those other similar things, Venmo, I don't know, whatever it is. But, you know, you could do that. That's an easy way. If you're a dance teacher, you could offer dance lessons virtually. If you're a performer on the Strip, you could offer a performance virtually and ask for tips, or charge people to come and see it. Come and see it on their computer, of course. Let's see what else I come up with. Casino dealers. Maybe you could set up how-tos for poker or blackjack or whatever your expertise is. Maybe offer some tips on that and make money that way. And maybe you could play with people virtually and so they can practice. These are things that I'm just thinking about. I mean, obviously you don't want to give away some house secrets because you want to go back to your job. But these are just some of the things that I was brainstorming of, like, what could you do if you suddenly find yourself without a job? I mean, this really is the time to get creative. This really is the time to think outside the box. We can do it. Some of the greatest things are born out of necessity, out of having your back against the wall. And so I really want to challenge you to start thinking about what you're good at. If you've been doing a certain skill for a number of years, you are an expert, and people would pay for that advice. Just get creative and think of ways that you can monetize something that you've always done, or something that you've always known about, or something that you're passionate about. Start getting creative. So those are my things that I think, just offhand, thinking about what you can do in this situation. But you got to get a hold of those finances first. And then once you get a realistic picture of what your money looks like, then we can start figuring out how we can fill in the gaps. So I hope this helped. If any of you have any other ideas, please put them below in the comments. I'm going to put this on my YouTube page, but it'll also be on some of my other social media pages too. I also have a new website now, www.latoyasilman.com. I'll have a blog on there, and I'll tell you a little bit more about what I do with my financial coaching, and then also I'll share some other things about just being healthy mind, body, and soul, and how to be intentional. This is not the time to slack. I know a lot of people are snacking at home and watching TV incessantly, but this ain't the time for that. Right? This is not that time. This is the time to really use it to the best of your ability to try to get yourself out of any hole that you may be in and set yourself up for success. You'd be surprised. You may come out of this better than you were when it all started. So that is my sincere wish and hope for all of you watching. We're going to get through it. We really are. I believe in our American spirit. I believe in people's grit to survive, and I really do think we're tougher than we think we are. So you can do this. You will do this, and you are not alone. All right, you guys, I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.